What is overthinking? It's a pattern of repetitive negative ideas about a specific topic.
In reality, it could be a very, like anything, right? Are helpful, too much of a good thing, a bad thing. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Hilsa.
Here we are again with a new episode of Letters to My Therapist. We have a really interesting topic to talk about. I'm so excited to be able to ask you this really important question.
Yes, and hi to all our listeners and our viewers too. So we are very excited to be here with you sharing letters to my therapist. So tell me, we our letter today is very short. I understand.
It's very short, but very to the point. And I'm really sure that a lot of our audience can really resonate. The letter says, how do I navigate overthinking in a new relationship? That's it. That's the
That's
entire
it.
question. And it has so much in those few words, right? Because how many of us really can relate to the idea of we're starting a new relationship and our minds go kind of wild with not only what's happened in the past, but what's going on now and what could happen in the future,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So, what do you think about this? Just that overthinking
Well,
idea.
so I think first will be important to tell our audience like what is overthinking. It's a pattern of repetitive negative ideas about a specific topic, and the word pattern here is important because every now and then everybody will have like an idea, like a negative idea, or you will be afraid of something, but pattern means that most of the time your mind is going in that direction and you are unable to focus in anything else. Your idea is just focusing in what is wrong with the situation, what could even get worse.
Right.
So I think that that's the way to recognize and identify,
Right.
what is the
The
overthinking.
difference, right?
And
Thinking too much about something, right?
about something, and when somebody is in that situation, they are unable to focus in the present, they are unable to really be in the situation that and what is really happening. It's like the brain get so much confused because there are so many movies in the head
Right.
thinking
And
that.
that's a good point. So many movies. So where does this all come from? I mean, I we can all resonate with this, having all of these different
Mhm.
movies going on in our head. Where do they come from?
Well, so there is a question always, was any negative experience in the past? This person has been hurt in the past. People that have tendency to anxiety in relationships, usually that is a response. The anxiety is a response to past experience where you didn't feel safe,
Hmm.
and it's really a way to adapt, so it's adaptative. So
Hmm.
that's not something to criticize, it's something to understand, that if you have been in situations where you didn't feel safe, where you feel like you couldn't maybe trust because the other
Hmm.
person was abusing the trust,
Right.
your brain get used to, let me alert
Right.
you, so you are not in danger again, or
Hmm.
so you don't go
Right.
through this again. And unfortunately, what happened is that at the moment, maybe that was necessary,
Hmm.
but you learn that, and it's kind of like maladaptive later on,
Later
that
on.
you continue then responding as an emergency when really there is not much going on.
And that's a really good point because the overthinking makes it feel like it's a bad thing. And as you're saying, in reality, it could be a very, like self preservation kind of tool. But like anything, right? Things in moderation are helpful. Too much of even a good thing can become a bad thing, right?
Mhm.
So the overthinking could be something that could help at the beginning as someone is stepping into a new relationship. We can kind of gauge what's happened, what kinds of experiences we've had in the past, and yet it sounds like this person who sent us this note really wants to talk about how to really do something different. Like once the relationship is we've decided we're stepping into this new relationship, how do we manage that
Yeah.
good thing not becoming a bad thing?
Because the overthinking doesn't allow you to enjoy really.
Right.
When you are too much in your head, you cannot be present in the moment and you may miss situations and
Mm-hmm.
experience that could be enjoyable, but you are not able to because you are too much worry. Like
Worrying.
when this thing is gonna turn around and
Correct.
when this thing, and you pay attention to every little detail of the negative
Mm-hmm.
that you overlook the
Right. So I think
positive.
that's the primary recommendation that we have, right, is to really encourage somebody to stay present.
Mhm.
So what does that look like? To really focus on enjoying the moment, the current situations that you are creating, and I know that a lot of times people will say to me, "Well, I can't. You know, my mind just goes away," and so right, a really focused a technique like mindfulness, right, where you are looking at what is right in front of you. So maybe using your five senses, right? What do you
Mhm.
see and what do you hear and what do you smell and feel to allow you to kind of ground yourself at this moment. So you're seeing this person. So where are we? Are we in a restaurant? Are we in a movie? Are we having conversation? Is there more companionable silence? You know, bringing ourselves back to that current moment. And it requires practice, especially if this person tends to be a worrier, right? It requires some practice to bring our head back to right here.
Yeah, and the breathing is a technique that is very useful to
Mm-hmm.
focus in the present. And you know what you describe is you're not even thinking, is your senses.
Right.
Allow your body to bring you to the present. When we put the attention in the body, we kind of like leave the mind alone
Right.
because sometimes our mind could be a little bit dangerous. It
Mm-hmm.
want to take us to places
Right.
that are a little bit twisted. So make sure that you are the boss, that your mind is not the boss.
Absolutely. That
That's
breathing,
important.
that's an important point because, you know, breathing is very much in the body. So that's
Mhm.
again, a simple, meaning not complicated tool that you can use. You take a few deep breaths
Deep.
wherever you are, you bring yourself back to, okay, what's happening in front of me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what
Then
other
another
tips can we give her?
Yeah, communication is very important. When you start overthinking and you have doubts, it's important that you express your concerns, that you ask questions, because sometimes the situation can be really simple. And if we ask a simple question to the other person, we could get a feedback that could be calming. But with communication at the beginning of relationship, I also wanna, it's like a double standard
Mm-hmm.
because you want to make sure that you don't seek validation all the time from the other person, and you don't ask every single second, where are you, what are you doing, do you love me, do you
Right.
want me, do you like me. So
Right.
it's
So we're
that
back
there's a,
there to too much of a good thing can become a bad thing.
exactly.
Yes.
So the invitation to somebody that has this tendency to overthinking will be try to find the source of your stability, the source of your security in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and even your own validation, like your own peace. That yeah, every now and then, like it's okay. You don't have to hold your tongue all the time and
Right.
don't ask anything because we go to extremes that we don't say anything to the person because we don't want to scare them. No, bring the conversations,
Right.
ask the questions, but every now and then, stop before you ask
All right.
and check if you really need to know every single detail of every movement this person is doing. And
And I
if
think
you are in doubt, if you're
that's a
pretty,
tool. That's a
yeah,
tool also. The
that's a tool.
pausing, the stopping, the pausing, the really holding yourself accountable to, okay, what's really happening here, and you be the one that brings your, your thought processes to a pause, so that you can kind of push some of that worry and some of that nervousness away, and you can get a better feel for, right?
Yeah, and look for reassurance. Give your reassurance to yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and
Hmm.
ask the question: do I look good? Do I like myself? So you know it's cute. Like when somebody else tells you that they like you and somebody else tell you that you look good. That's good. That's food for the self-esteem.
Hmm.
But we also need to learn to look ourselves and find what is it what we like,
Hmm.
and enjoy the way that we look, even if it's in little details. We don't have to wait all the time for somebody else to be telling us.
So now I'm hearing you talk about a little bit of a parallel situation, right? Because they're asking here how to navigate a new relationship. You're also talking about navigating that relationship with yourself, right? So that you can set boundaries with yourself, so that you can have those ways for you to create your own peace, as you're saying, to really be able to validate yourself. That relationship with yourself is I think a big piece to how do we manage the overthinking. Like, if we like what we see in the mirror, then we may be more relaxed in relationship with somebody else.
Yeah, because really the overthinking is very well connected
Mm-hmm.
to insecurity. Is very well connected that we are not really in peace
Right.
with who we are,
Right.
and we are very concerned that if this relationship doesn't go well, oh my God, I'm gonna be devastated.
Right.
And something that we have to learn for a relationship to be healthy is that, yeah, we want to be with that person,
Right.
but we don't need to be with that person. And if things don't go well, maybe it's gonna hurt. Maybe we're not gonna enjoy. Maybe we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a hard time for a few days, but we're gonna be fine.
Right.
And the overthinking has in the base that idea
Mm-hmm.
that if this doesn't go well, it's going to be a disaster, and I'm not going to be able to manage, and I'm not going to be able to handle. So we want to invite to find the sources of security
Mm-hmm.
and think that, yeah, we're going to fight for the relationship. We're going to make sure that if it's a good one, we're going to defend it and we're going to make it grow. But if it's not,
Mm-hmm.
and things
Right.
don't go well, you're going to be fine.
It will be okay. I agree. It's that focus on self care that you and I are always emphasizing, and I think that kind of an invitation of really looking at your person, that relationship with yourself first, is the one that then you take into interrelationships with other people. So I'm hoping that these give some recommendations, right? Some ideas of how to navigate this. Start with your person, feel good about what you see in the mirror, and then, yes, you have to have some conversations with this new person, but kind of keep them light and gauge to see how that person interacts with you, so that you can continue to determine the relationship piece of this, right? Versus
Yeah,
yourself.
be patient. That is
Mhm.
also really important because relationships evolve. So at the beginning, so you don't have to decide from day one what is going to happen
Right.
in a few years, and if this is going to land or no.
Hmm.
Sometimes people miss this moment. Relationships can start kind of light, and we don't know exactly what is going to happen. You are in the process of getting to know that person.
Right.
You don't even know if you want it
Hmm.
because you don't know if when you really get to know that person,
Right.
you really want to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes people get really anxious in, oh my God, this is it, this is
Mm-hmm.
it.
Right.
And then you overlook some of the details that could be really important, and you may not be totally compatible.
Right.
So,
So I think those are important pieces. The looking at your sense of self first, I think, is the biggest tool to navigating that overthinking, right? Giving yourself time, patience, a little bit of grace,
yeah,
and compassion.
one thing that is also Hilsa like very like for nowadays, it's very common that people start looking in social media, and then you see what other people are doing in their relationships, and then you see the pictures that everything is okay, or you see maybe some pictures or some images of this person in the past, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that could give like food for this overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
So just being aware of that, that everything that you see
Mm-hmm.
in those networks is not the full expression of the real life of the people.
Right. Uh-huh.
So because
That's a good point. Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, the comparison, like, oh my God, all my friends are in perfect relationships,
Right.
and I see everybody doing amazing things, and
Mm-hmm.
me and this person, we are not doing that. So
Right.
probably it's because he doesn't care. So
I
yeah,
mean, I
don't
think
make
that's a
assumptions.
good recommendation in general, that social media really needs to be, limited, and especially when you're starting a new relationship, but even during a relationship, um, exiting or how to exit, I think social media is definitely something that needs to be kind of as a side tool, not the focus tool of really, getting to know someone, getting to know yourself in relation to someone. I think that um, we can offer this reader, this audience, this writer, that navigating a relationship, it's challenging, but it's doable, right?
Doable and can be enjoyable
It can be very
if you put
enjoyable.
the attention in you, and also in, what is the beauty that this process can bring to your life.
Absolutely. Okay, so these are our recommendations for today. I hope that something resonates for you, because these are all really common situations that happen to all of us in relationships. So we look forward to having you meet us for our next episode.
Yeah, the topic of the next episode is when a partner has become distant in a relationship. So don't miss it. We are looking forward to have you with us.
See you, Maddie.
See you, Hilsa. See you, everybody.